A nice, tidy, neat start. The lights go green now, and he's blast off. The McLarens go toe-to-toe down towards turn one. The Alessio Picariello Porsche, the bright yellow car, going for a gap in the middle. The gap suddenly disappears. He's got nowhere to go as the cars head now down towards the braking zone. That was the onboard view for the Porsche. McLaren, Ferrari, Jules Gounon's Mercedes round the outside to go third. And Picariello has made a lightning start. Look, he's ahead of Engel, who's on the escape road. Engel actually benefiting a little bit by all of that as he blends back into the traffic. But Picariello made a demon start, and so also there's Ayhan Guven in the black and gold Porsche.
So far, so good, and we're clean.
Except the Verstappen Aston was really sideways. Vermeulen got it all crossed up. I think he found all the marbles on the outside of the road. We're not that clean. Ralph Bowen has gone around. And there, look, number 42 BMW, the Silver Cup Championship leading car is delayed as well. It has kicked off, and that's at turn 3. You can see on that timing tower who has made progress, who has not. Mikey Porter has gained 9 places. David Pittard 11 and 6 for Picariello. There in the yellow Porsche, coming under attack from number 51. And we go safety car.
This is where it's going to kick off, and that's the natural filter into 2, into 3. There's a car on the inside there as well, and there's just so much to dissect. And now look at that, Concertina up, wow!
And there, cars all over the road. Here, ahead of Al-Faisal Al-Zubar in the BMW, the Lamborghini 163 around the outside of all of them. That's trying to hang on to the position. He's not quite going to work for Font Pereira. He's on the outside line, and Al-Faisal Al-Zubar hangs on to the place. Good move.
To stress to the drivers, okay, now let's think about the tyres. If we can just look after them, take out some steering angle, be patient on the throttle, don't light up the rears, and you can just make them last better for you later in the stints. You will pay dividends, as that 64 Mustang that had damage earlier getting out of the way of that battle into turn 10.
So Wirtz versus Cheever here, but to be talking about Charles Wirtz down in 25th place is not what we anticipated, not what WRT anticipated. The best BMW comes out of the Rover Racing stable at the moment. It's the Augusto Farfus car in the white and yellow Rover Motor Oil colours. Eddie Cheever, the American driver, son of Eddie Cheever, ex-Grand Prix driver, comes up towards the timing line and will go over the line now then in the Ferrari that he shares with Marco Pulcini and Chris Froggatt. Down towards turn 1. It is Finn Wiebelhaus's Ford Mustang that is the fastest in a straight line at 272 kilometres an hour. The BMW's next of Will Moore recovering after the spin, and Charles Wirtz, Job van Aert's Audi 4th, and James Kellett the 5th bravest. But a lot of BMWs there with quite a lot of pace in a straight line. Yeah. Great scheme though for David Pittard. He's got Mikey Porter's McLaren queued up behind him. And then Al-Faisal Al-Zubar. Mikey Porter in that McLaren, one car but one behind Vermeulen, is in that Gold Cup battle in the race. So Vermeulen's not out of the woods, is he? He needs a little bit more breathing space. Have our first track limit penalty being given. A pit stop at 30 seconds has been given to 888 Porsche Fabien Defieux, as there David Pittard has to fend off Mikey Porter going down into turn 1. That helps to an extent Vermeulen, because while Porter is attacking Pittard, and Pittard has to defend, it takes some of the pressure off Vermeulen. But Drudy has got away, hasn't he? Look, the gap has widened between those two Aston Martins.
Yeah, Vermeulen's last lap, a 45.3, a full second slower. Must have made a mistake. Here's the mistake. Or was it? Pittard is in the door of him, forcing him out wide on the exit of 12. How does Pittard not get this move done? Vermeulen chops across the front. They're still hitting each other side to side into turn 13, 140, 150 kilometres an hour at this point. And Vermeulen just sends it across the front of Pittard and just asks him the question. But Vermeulen must have gone in deep at the previous corner to not get a good run.
Not.
Yeah.
It is, and Jess Hawkins has been off the road. She's trying to get the car back to the pit lane, maybe with a puncture. Oh, and there's even more drama. This is going to be the safety car again, because look, you've got debris all over the racetrack and two cars that emerged.
Race leaders are about to come round as well, so Marshall needs to act fast.
Facing the wrong way, aren't they?
Yeah, really the wrong way in the middle of it.
Full course yellow call. That slows everything down. But control conditions, let's try and piece it together. This, first of all, is number 270. A separate incident then for Jessica Hawkins, because the Audi gets sideways and glances off the side. That's how Jessica Hawkins came to grief, rattling over the curb and the gravel. But then there's the separate incident between the Ferrari and the Mercedes. And to have those two cars connect where they are and face the wrong way at that part of the circuit is a slightly unusual one.
Yeah, I thought the damage was on the right-hand side, but maybe just a puncture on the 270. Going to get some radio here to listen in on.
We will not lose a lot on the focus yellow.
Optimum McLaren to see what it's doing, but I think that's why they have pitted well out of strategy at the moment. As we see another hit, and it's just the Mercedes just isn't that far alongside the 8 Kessel car for me.
That Kessel Ferrari destroyed, isn't it? The whole of the front ripped off, and you could tell from the way Nicola Rossi was walking away that he was somewhat battered by the impact with the wall around the seatbelts doing their job of securing him in the car. But the marshals diving for cover, they're all okay as well, we understand. But now we've got the extrication, not of the driver, that's done, but getting the car out of the way. When the car's done, then he can clear all the debris. And then Jesse Krohn up into 7th in number 98 BMW. That's been another big winner. The cars that pitted first have certainly gained a lot of track time in a lot of places. So the green flag waves once more, and away we go, back racing, as we've had nearly 58 minutes of the race. Now, this is on board with Matteo Cairoli.
This is going to be wild. The lead Porsche is 4 seconds a lap slower than the quick cars, so that car's got to filter through the whole of this pack. It's going to be wild. Drivers have got to have their eyes up, and the 32 car already on the front foot. Not
entirely sure I'd like to be Fabio Duffier with all these cars behind me, as another one goes off the racetrack there. It's the Ferrari, isn't it? That was the car of possibly Froggatt as the car get back on track. Certainly one Ferrari off the racetrack, and there, look, Cairoli getting up alongside the Porsche number 96 then. So it's Cairoli versus Sven Muller. Muller stays ahead just, he's on the back of Fabian Schiller, and there Adam Smalley losing out has passed him. Now goes number 9 and Mikael Grenier, so that's a change of place for 4th. Now 3rd, and Smalley fights back, goes back through on the inside.
There on the evidence I've seen, and you could see the Winwood man filter team in disbelief. But I feel Mara Engel probably knows deep down, not that he would admit to us, that was the right decision from race control.
Don't forget, this car's got a 10-second time penalty anyway. Then get that out of the way if they can clear this problem. But it looks as though number 9 Mercedes may well be a retirement, as they're going down through turn 1 is number 50 Ferrari. Antonio Fuoco now will gain a place with the problems for number 9 Mercedes.
Yeah, Fuoco has had a great lap on that last lap, hasn't he? He's lifted himself back up the order, so going well for him. The 96 car here now looking at Fuoco's rear end.
Now, Grenier, remember, was the leading Pro Cup car. He's now into the pit lane. That means that Jesse Krohn's BMW leads Pro from Nicky Team's Aston, and up to 3rd in Pro, Ugo de Wilde in number 32 BMW, that was almost a day behind in the first part of the first stint, and now it's up to 7th overall and 3rd in its class. Ferrari on the inside, leans on the Porsche. Cairoli's going to try and find a way through. He's up the inside, that's going to be outside. Damage to the Porsche though now. Look, the front of Sven Muller's car has been damaged by rubbing up against the Ferrari. The front balance has dipped, and all of a sudden it's going to change the situation massively. It's not dragging on the ground quite, but that's going to be an evil handling Porsche. Things get turned upside down yet again. There it is, it's at turn 3. So it got there thus.
CSA McLaren was there, wasn't it? The 111 car looked very close, in an odd place to go off, and a very odd place, like you said, for Alfred Renauer, a very fast and consistent driver.
And those Porsches inside out, he's
got to work out the differences of BOP, and he'll now see the BMW start to go, and he needs to be careful he doesn't wear out the headlight flash button, and he's loving that, isn't he? That's for sure. And the more you get flashed to the driver, the more you look in, less you look in the mirror, sorry, so potentially he's actually the undoing, but he'll be getting the hurry up, because if Fuoco can get past Lulham, then that's going to be a problem for Goretti being the pace, and actually Allen now into the race lead.
And the Greystone GT turquoise McLaren also heading into turn 1. There, the second of those Rutronic Porsches, number 97. That's the car that Luke Hartog has in 28th place. Now for 4th and 5th and 6th here, Söderström, Moncini and Jesse Krohn are together, and significantly the Aston Martin versus the Audi for Silver Cup leadership. Jesse Krohn won in that Rover BMW at the Nürburgring. Was that a spot or two of rain on the camera lens there as the BMW went by going up towards turn 9. So this is the BMW of Ben Tuck you're looking at. 3rd, 4th Söderström, and the challenge for 5th place, the Rover liveried BMW. It is now in the hands of Jesse Krohn, and he's crawling all over the back of Leonardo Moncini. Top of the race to go as you look at Sven Muller in number 96 Porsche, the Rutronic car, going up through turn 7, the other side of which Tommaso Mosca here is pounding up towards the right of turn 12. So Adam Smalley is the race leader on the road, but the next round of stops and the order the other side of them is going to be absolutely fascinating. Who is going to win and lose out of all of that? There is Sven Muller keeping Matteo Cairoli at bay, but the Cairoli Mercedes with that advantage penalty for Engel to be applied. That's the one that might be a bit vulnerable, and more drama now because off the road is 88 Audi with a lot of front damage, and that's another interruption coming. It is Rocco Mazzola at the wheel of the car. He's had a big off coming out of turn 8, and that is going to be another interruption surely. It's what's left of the Audi as it is put very quickly onto the back of the flatbed. How did it get there? Let's try and piece some of this together. So there is 88 and a tap in the back. That's coming out of turn 3. That unsettles it. And it was the 333 Lamborghini. We're not done yet. Round the outside at turn 5 now. 333 still can't go by. And he's going to have a look up the inside down towards turn 8. He's gone through. And then Rocco Mazzola accelerates out of the corner. And does it just break? The Lamborghini of Maximilian Powell bounces over the curb, comes across the front. Audi gets up the inside and is sideways, and by that stage he's lost it.
I think he's just had to lift when he wants to be on the throttle. That's taken the weight off the rear, and watch that crunch. Oh. Ow. Wow, the slow-mo making it very dramatic, and you can see the energy that's been dissipated in the crash structure on the front. Louis Pret still working the tyres, interestingly, there, and you can see Arthur Leclerc looks like he might have to defend from the Audi, who's getting attacked from Rafael Marciello, squirreling under brakes and just about gets it stopped.
Marciello goes through. There you've got Nicky Thiem's car now in the hands of Marco Sorensen, the number 7 Aston Martin. There is Marciello up the inside of Alex Arca. That's the car leading in silver, the black and orange Audi. But it's going to lose a place overall as Marciello goes by. And in fact, Alex Arca is forced way wide off the racetrack. Have a look at the background to see what progress, if any, Patrick Niederhauser is making. The answer is nil so far, as in 11th place he is still stuck behind Rovera. Downhill comes then Jens Klingman.
The battle in the background, 10 forward, I think put Van der Linde on the grass. Van der Linde, of course, in the championship, if he can get some more points, it would swing in his favour.
Yeah, possibly so. They're very much the outsiders, but at the moment that car is 8th in the race, so that will put them on 59 points. They still wouldn't outscore the Porsche nor the Mercedes crew, but it does get them a little bit nearer. There is Kelvin van der Linde, Larry ten Voorde in the black and gold Porsche, just ahead of Harry King. And that's personal. Harry King puts one over on Larry ten Voorde up the inside now. Goes Patrick Niederhauser, he's going to gain a place. That's vital for the championship. Niederhauser gets through, moves himself up past Rovera. Yeah,
Rovera had nowhere to go. He kicked up the dirt, and I think that's why he ran wide. And now look at that's Sorensen getting pushed out by Van der Linde. That's aggressive. Van der Linde knows what he needs to do, and he's on the front foot clearing the traffic too.
Rovera fighting back against Patrick Niederhauser, who's going to run him out wide, so the Ferrari has to give way. So now Niederhauser closing onto the back of ten Voorde, who's not in it for the championship. This ought to be a Porsche call, shouldn't it? Let ten Voorde get out of the way and allow Niederhauser to go through. So he's gained one of his 4 places. We need to get Niederhauser up into 7th with Lucas Auer not in the points.
Yeah, it's a good call with the Porsche strategy there as Van der Linde clears the back-marking Lamborghini. Sorensen now having to defend the back-marking Ferrari coming back. Where's that come from? Sorensen seemingly has got no pace. He can't even stay in front of the back-markers.
So that's, he's on the back of Harry King now. So Patrick Niederhauser looks for a way past. King can't do it. And where is Lucas Auer? He's still stuck in 13th place. So much as Niederhauser is trying to go forward, Lucas Auer is going to do something as well. He needs to be in the points just in case. Niederhauser now on the back of Harry King. He thinks about the inside line. Had a long think about the inside line up to turn 4.
Yeah, dramatic pause, and Harry King would have had to be looking behind him to work out whether the move was coming. Does Niederhauser send it? Does he now just steady the ship? His teammates look on. Sven Muller's not going to have any nails left at this rate, is he? He's got to keep this momentum going. He's got to get more points. He's got to get the championship.
Pure and simple. And now, look, ten Voorde is under attack from Alessio Rovera. Now he is being really defensive to try to let Niederhauser go. But Niederhauser is still stuck behind Harry King, who's doing nothing wrong. Harry King here on target for a Gold Cup Championship success, even though he's only third in gold in the race, with Pret and Klingman also out of gold further up the road. Ten Voorde, look, defending for all he's worth, but Rovera to the outside line. Alessio Rovera, last year's Endurance Cup champion with Alessandro Pierguidi, turns now up through the left of 10. This time about the move against Sorensen, he goes through and he's done it. Porsche up the inside line. So Patrick Niederhauser has the inside. Rutronic start to celebrate. We need to see what's happening next. He's done it. He's cleared the Aston going in towards turn 12. So now Niederhauser is 8th. One more place. That's all he needs.
And again, Marcello not able to get past. So here is race control's message.
48 Mercedes will have a 5-second penalty for not serving the time penalty correctly, as now Niederhauser to the outside rubs up alongside Harry King. That's the first big move he's really made. It didn't work. It was brave stuff, and Niederhauser's got to be careful because things like that can end in tears.
And you might look from the outside. Why didn't he try and send it round the outside? The outside line is like communism. In principle, it should work, but in theory, it doesn't. And that's why Niederhauser backed out of that one and decided, you know what, I'm going to tuck him behind as we have a car in the gravel, the Stella car at 12. Is that going to get stuck? It doesn't. It gets going. That saved us from full course yellow. Very dramatic, and that was brave, wasn't it? And a bit of gravel on the inside as well.
Lorcan Hannafin at the wheel of it then, gets the car back up running out of turn 12. And he's done it. He's gone by.
Took 5 corners for him to capitalise on the pace, but it's done. And now what can Marcello do? Can he do anything? That's a podium position, but he'll be looking at the 777 Almanor racing car in front to try and snatch second place.
That's also been a change of lead in Pro, hasn't it? Marcello getting the BMW up past the Ferrari, and after Leclerc fights back, behind them is the Silver Cup leading Audi of Alex Arca as they now go out of turn 10, and Alex Arca trying to buy into this as well. If any car out of this battle ends up going off the road, that of course would give a place back to Niederhauser. That could affect the championship. Up the curb, he's close enough to make that dive on the inside coming into turn 5. He thinks about it, he goes for it for the championship. Niederhauser goes through, he's done it! Patrick Niederhauser goes through, and that makes them the champions if they stay there. A delighted Alessio Picariello. Sven Muller can't quite believe it yet. Patrick Niederhauser deserved that. Boy, has he worked for it. You were right in predicting turn 5, and it all really started coming out of turn 13. He got closer and closer and closer, sat on the back of Harry King down towards turn 5. This Porsche now goes 1 place up the order. It gains 2 points, and that, by our maths, is going to make them the champions. And you could tell the joy and the relief on the faces of his co-drivers. Amazing.
You can buy me a pint later, Patrick Niederhauser. Thank you for making me look clever. But it's a great move, and he sent it, and there's disbelief now.
While Patrick Niederhauser has not given up, has he? He'd like another place just to make sure of this, and he's on the back of the BMW of Kelvin van der Linde. Really interesting that, given how he's been able to get away by nearly 4 seconds from Harry King. So there's the pace of the Porsche, but it took him so long to get past. But look, he's absolutely gobbled up the real estate to get onto the tail of that BMW. At the start of the lap, it was 9/10 of a second. So is the BM going to be as tough a nut to crack as the Aston Martin?
BMW's gone through its tyres. That car is circulating so slowly from van der Linde, who's just got no grip whatsoever as we're now in the slipstream. Are we going to get 2 more laps? Pret's gap's big enough to P2 where he could actually back out and make this the last lap. I think it's too risky because he would have to let a couple of back markers through. So I think he'll keep the pace up and we'll squeeze another lap out of this race.
So there is Patrick Niederhauser. He also has to make a call here, doesn't he? It's all very well getting onto the back of that BMW, trying to go through, but just suppose something went wrong in the overtake and you end up in contact and off the road. All that hard work getting past Harry King is for nothing. So I would suspect that Niederhauser isn't going to chance his arm here unless it's an absolute dead cert.
Yeah, he's fortunate, isn't he, where he's got a big gap behind him now of 4.7 seconds to King. He loves that curve. It can feel, as we ride on board, it really hooks the inside up much quicker than the outside. Gives him a load of wheel spin. So he's obviously preferring the rotation, but looks leery. But yeah, the pace difference now 0.8 of a second per lap for the last 4 laps.
So there is Patrick Niederhauser then, who is on target for the championship overall, as he's on the back of Kelvin van der Linde in the BMW. The South African driver coming now hard on the brakes down towards the left at turn 10. So BMW versus Porsche, 2 very different shapes in terms of GT3 cars. The race leader is now, according to that graphic, on his last lap. Now, where is Louis Pret? Yeah, he's just gone through to start the last lap. So last lap started. It is lap number 91. And this is the last key battle. It's for 6th place. But if I were Patrick Niederhauser, I'd just sit there, wouldn't you?
Yeah, there's nothing to be gained, all to be lost. And it would feel slightly strange. The adrenaline would be super high in Niederhauser's veins, of course. And now you're just asking him to back off. And that's going to be a lovely lap for Louis Pret now as he comes down to turn 5, the corner where Niederhauser won the championship.
So Louis Pret has been one of the stars of the day, has he not? It would have been fascinating to see him in a proper battle, but don't forget that into this final stint he was able to drive away from Jens Klingmann. There were a couple of back markers between, but once Klingman got through, he wasn't able to bring the gap down. Instead, he ended up dropping away and having to go defensive. So Louis Pret has been able to build that lead really impressively. The race of his life, I reckon, this, Louis Pret, as he comes now down towards turn 10. Checkered flag is at the ready. And what a season it has been, what a drive it has been there. Adam Smalley with his arm around Dean McDonald and Stefan Ortelli on the other side. They can barely watch all of this, but they're about 3 corners away from an enormous celebration, a huge release of the tension and the emotion. For them, it's going to be a race win. For the Rotronic Racing team, it's going to be a championship win. So the McLaren now turns out of turn 13. It's going to be a win for a car out of the Gold Cup. It's going to be a win for Garage 59. It's going to be a win for the first time in endurance since 2016 for McLaren. It is a win for Louis Pret, Dean McDonald, Adam Smalley. The car comes across the line to win in Barcelona, and there is the delight. This is the car that's going to take second in the race, or is it? Because no, Jens Klingman's gone back ahead of Raffaele Marciello. The switch has happened back, so Klingman is on target now for second place overall and second in gold. Third to Marciello, fourth to Leclerc, fifth to win silver Alex Arca. Sixth is going to go the way of Calvin van der Linde, and seventh is the Porsche to win the championship. Patrick Niederhauser, Alessio Picariello, Sven Muller win the GT World Challenge Europe powered by AWS overall. Harry King comes across the line to win the gold championship along with Thierry Vermeulen and Chris Lallen, and there Sven Muller and Alessio Picariello. Alessio Picariello has had a very good career winning in Audis, winning in sports cars as well as GT cars. Let's look at the race result then. Adam Smalley, Louis Pret, Dean McDonald win from Jens Klingman, Ben Tuck and Al-Faisal Al-Zubar. A gold 1-2 is pretty unprecedented. Third, the Pro Cup winning Augusto Farfus, Jesse Krohn and Raffaele Marciello from Alessio Dono, who we didn't really touch on in his stint because he was quite a long way down the order, but Antonio Fuoco and Arthur Leclerc catapulting up to fourth. Leonardo Moncini, Sebastian Oegaard, Alex Arca fifth. They win silver from Kelvin van der Linde, Charles Wirtz and Ugo de Wilde. Then Patrick Niederhauser, Alessio Picariello and Sven Muller seventh, and they win the championship. Eighth, Harry King, Chris Lallen, Thierry Vermeulen from gold champions. Ninth, Heinz Guven, Larry Ten Voorde and Alessandro Giretti, while David Pittard, Christian Cronjes and Enrique Chavez rounded out the top 10. 12th, the bronze winners, Luke Hartog, Antares Al and Maurice Scheuring. So it's a race to watch back and try and unravel, isn't it, as to how various things happened, and inevitably in all of that there were things that we were going to miss, like the puncture for Alessio Rovera. That cost that car a lot of time and put it down to 33rd, and the Mattia Drudi, Nicky Tim, Marco Sorensen Aston had its drive-through rescinded, but that car, you were saying, had just no pace. That fell to 34th. That also had problems towards the end, and after that really bad pit stop, Chris Froggatt, Eddie Cheever, Marco Pulcini ending up in 39th place. Quite a lot of non-finishers, quite a lot of damage as well to round out the year.
Yeah, that huge shunt between the 81 Winward Mercedes and the Kessel car was the big one, wasn't it? And luckily, all drivers okay. And again, just a show of strength of these modern GT3 cars.
British GT champions Charles Dawson, Cian Jewis a lap down in 44th place. And as you can see, we lost that WRT BMW towards the end as well.
If it hadn't had the issue in the first pit stop.
Let's look at the championship then in the overall situation. It is a win by a point for Alessio Picariello, Sven Muller and Patrick Niederhauser from Matteo Cairoli, Lucas Auer and Mara Engel, who came up here to join us. Ugo de Wilde, Kelvin van der Linde, Charles Wirtz, they were always the outsiders. They have, though, Kelvin and Charles won the Sprint Cup title, so there is some consolation at least. Raffaele Marciello, Jesse Krohn, Augusto Farfus fourth. They were the race winners at the Nürburgring. Jordan Pepper, Luca Enschler, Mirko Bortolotti way down the order today. But of course they were the winners of the Blue Ribbon event, the Crowd Strike 24 Hours of Spa. 16th in the end today with a 10-second time penalty for leaving the track and gaining an advantage applied late race. As far as the full season is concerned, the champions though are the 32 BMW team from the Lucas Auer, Maro Engel duo and Patrick Niederhauser and Sven Muller in third. And Vincent Voss with his trademark flat cap arrives, and nicely Vincent doesn't try and take centre stage, just peeks into shot at the edge there, but well done to WRT. Perhaps not quite the result they wanted today, but it's not been a shabby season, far from it, as yet again they have had great success. So that is the end of GT World Challenge Europe powered by AWS in 2025. Join us again next April. It all starts again. What a great season we've had. Thanks for your company from all of us here. Bye-bye.